guys, Victoria here, and welcome to the Geeky Sandbox. So today we're going to be reviewing and recapping episode 3 of season 1 of Pretty Little Liars, The Perfectionists. And the title of the episode is ... if one of them is dead. So there's a lot to talk about with this episode, guys. I'm going to be going over my top 5 moments as usual. And I do apologize for this video being a little late. I've had a full workload in regard to work. And even starting this Wednesday, I'm going to be working nonstop. We have a musical coming into work and I'm going to have to be there for the majority of its run. But that's aside from the point. You guys didn't come here to hear me talk about work or musicals. Like I said, there's a lot to unwrap here, and this show's kind of panning out to be something that I didn't think I would enjoy, and I don't know, I'm pleasantly surprised. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into those top 5 moments. As always, guys, this episode will contain spoilers, so if you haven't seen episode 3 of Pretty Little Liars, The Perfectionists season 1, then go ahead and skip this video. Number 5. There's surveillance proof that the trio was together right before Nolan was killed. Just as I guessed in last episode, of course, Dana got her hands on some information and she took this to Mrs. Hotchkiss, which I know she's very, very suspicious of everyone and she's trying to figure out who killed her son and whatnot. So she kind of gives Dana the go ahead to kind of like go after the kids. Meanwhile, Allison attempts to try to make sure the trio has their air quote story straight and even sort of explains why she's throwing them a lifeline. And of course, sort of, I literally mean sort of, she was very vague as she could be. So they're not quite sure exactly why she's helping, and I think part of her doesn't know exactly why, aside from the fact that she doesn't like when authority figures kind of abuse their power. Number 4, Allison goes to Mona for help. And I hate that they always pull Mona into this type of stuff. Like, give her a break, please. But, you know, Mona can't get into Beacon Guard in order to try to help Allison, in order for herself to just figure out who killed Nolan, because she still has this guilt weighing on her shoulders that she did somehow get Nolan killed. But anyway, we find out that her account has been flagged for suspicious activity. Mona even goes ahead and she warns Allison that Dana will be all over her and the kids, so she needs to take a yearbook and try to familiarize herself with who Nolan knew, just so she can get ahead of this murder investigation.
Get out of his seat.
And just a sidebar, Ava freaks out after Mason sits in Nolan's seat in class, and Mason is clearly making this his power move, and he refuses to give the seat up, saying that it's up for grabs, which is very insensitive. Even Caitlin turns to him and she's kind of like, Mason. Meanwhile, Caitlin tries to go check on her, but is stopped by Dana, and she's kind of blackmailed by her as well. Dana reveals the photo that Nolan had of her mother cheating, and Dana's really stooping low. Like, I want to be extremely shocked and I want to be surprised, but I'm not, because she's really trying to figure out who killed Nolan. And she does have a bone to pick with Ava specifically, but now with the rest of these kids too, and Allison. But Caitlin claps back and sticks to her guns, which I am very proud of. Number 3, Caitlin tells Mrs. Hotchkiss about the photos, and Mrs. Hotchkiss kind of goads Caitlin into getting dirt on Ava and Dylan in exchange to keep her mother's photos a secret. And I think Caitlin kind of realizes her mistake after Mrs. Hotchkiss tries to get her to get dirt on those two. She kind of feels like, oh crap, maybe I shouldn't have said anything. But, you know, like I said, little does Caitlin know, she doesn't know that Dana is in cahoots with Mrs. Hotchkiss. So she kind of fell right into that trap. Though Mrs. Hotchkiss truly believes that Caitlin had nothing to do with Nolan's death. But I feel that's not going to last for too long. Like, I feel once Caitlin doesn't come through on getting dirt and things like that, Miss Hotchkiss is going to grow to not trust her. And just a sidebar, I understand that Dana is in control of Beacon Guard, but how does she have access to the kids' dorms? Because she kind of walks into Dylan's place while he's trying to get a nice composed piece together for his boyfriend and their anniversary. And I mean, it's very odd. But anyways, she's not making much ground with getting information on Nolan's murder. She's frustrated. It's kind of funny. But yeah, Dylan doesn't give her any information either. And I'm also kind of worried about Ava's drunk Vogue video being broadcast and being kept for evidence, because she just kind of left it open on her laptop, which is a very amateur move if you watch any kind of Pretty Little Liars or any show similar to this at all. Number 2, Ava's secret. So we learned that Ava actually followed Nolan out to the cabin and saw Taylor, but she hadn't realized it was her at the time, but now she's second guessing that it wasn't what she thought it was. She thought Nolan was out there cheating on her, but she explains why she's second guessing herself, and it's all because of the gift that Nolan left for her, which was a broken camera lens. And just to put the camera lens story short, a journalist who was trying to get photos of Ava, for a story of her dad leaving and embezzling all that money, kept harassing her, and then Nolan just smashed the guy's camera when he wouldn't leave. And so Ava's kind of taking it as a sign that maybe Nolan was trying to do all of this for her after all and was trying to keep her safe, and that maybe the girl in the cabin, like I said earlier, wasn't some sort of fling, but someone he was meeting. And just a major sidebar, the group agrees to try to work together to find out who killed Nolan.
What part about don't do anything out of the ordinary did you miss?
They visit Taylor's cabin and they get caught by no one other than Allison. This is not her first rodeo. After trying to look for clues together, the trio finds a dead rat in the back of Ava's car with a note claiming that one of the three was actually a rat. Now, who it is, I don't know. They could be referring to the fact that Caitlin was kind of set up to try to get information on them, and who knows, they might find a way to make it look like that, or it could be one of them, who knows. But Allison, like I said, this isn't her first rodeo, actually returns to the cabin in order to look for more evidence, and something that caught her eye earlier, a hidden rose, she picks it up and leaves. And number 1, 2 is a coincidence and 3 is a clue. Allison puts 2 and 2 together. The blonde that looked like her that Ava saw, plus the rose from Taylor's gravesite, equals Taylor is possibly alive. So the trio is becoming closer, and they encourage and uplift each other at the end of the episode, and it was really nice to see.
Do you know why I faked my own death?
Because everyone in Rosewood wanted to kill you?
Not everyone.
Allison shares her revelation with Mona about how she faked her own death, and she thinks something bigger is at foot, and that she believes Taylor is alive and is doing the same thing. And I'll do you one even better. Mason seems to be the person who has been spying on the group. Surprise. But no, Mason tosses a candy wrapper in the trash, and Caitlin picks it up, of course, and it happens to be the same candy wrapper or gum wrapper that they've been seeing in all these different places. And she makes sure to call whoever she's on the other line with, whether it's Dylan or Ava, just to let them know, like, hey, I think Mason's the one that's been spying on us. And just one more thing I want to add, guys. There's a theory floating around that Mona may not actually be there, and that Allison may have gone through a traumatic event that caused her to move away from Rosewood and her family, because people are still trying to piece together why exactly would she leave her family behind. I don't know if there's anything to that theory in regard to Allison potentially imagining Mona, just because people have brought up that Mona, we have yet to see her interact with any of the other characters. No other character has seen her or anything like that. I personally just looked at it just at face value, just as, okay, well, Mona's kind of doing her own thing. She doesn't really need to interact with those main characters. She's off doing her own thing. But like I said, there could be something to it, but for me, I'm not quite sure yet how I feel about the theory, just because we did see Mona interact with a couple of other characters, well, side supporting characters in the show, but who knows? We still have a lot of the season left to see, so I don't know, we'll just have to stick around and see exactly what happens with that theory. And let me know your thoughts, guys. Do you think there's something to that? Well, there you have it, guys. I really do hope you enjoyed this video. I personally liked episode 3. I do think episode 2 has been my favorite episode so far, but there were some nice moments and some nice highlights within episode 3. I really do like the budding relationship of our trio. I like that they're starting to trust each other more, and they're encouraging and uplifting each other, because with that kind of situation, I imagine that that is exactly what you need. And I do like that there are those glimpses of Mona where she's still trying to keep herself grounded. Like, she took time to step away from the computer so she can go back and play chess. I do like that whole bit where they're not having her dive into this whole like crazy Mona thing. I'm interested to see exactly what's going to happen with Taylor, like where she is, and what's going to happen with Mrs. Hotchkiss in regard to her suspicions, and Dana. I mean, I guess it's because I just have so much anxiety from watching the regular Pretty Little Liars series, or even from watching shows like How to Get Away with Murder and scandal where there's always somebody watching, that I just feel like these guys have no idea what they're dealing with or who they're dealing with. Like they talk publicly, or excuse me, they talk in public to each other, which is no surprise why someone overheard like at least 90% of their conversations. So hopefully they'll learn here soon exactly to talk with your curtains closed and your I don't know, your phone's turned off and things like that. But I'm liking what's happening so far. We'll see exactly how the rest of the season pans out. If you like this video, guys, go ahead and give me a like rating down below. And of course, if you're new to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you just like watching my videos and you aren't subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And until next time, I'll see you in the next video.